Good morning. Today we are discussing about the chapter physical fitness, wellness and lifestyle. In this chapter, we are studying now components of physical fitness. Today we will discuss about the endurance. Endurance is the ability to sustain an activity. It is also defined as the ability to resist fatigue. This ability is to sustain an activity, means this endurance means doing activity for certain time duration. The ability of continuing the activity for certain time duration. So that's why it is the ability to sustain an activity. Also defined as the ability to resist fatigue. It is tiredness. So the endurance is the ability of muscles to delay the tiredness. In all sports, endurance is of high importance. Is highly important. Endurance is measured by the number of repetition. How many times we can repeat any activity. This is the method also to develop the endurance. Endurance is of two types. So endurance we can understand now. This is the ability of the body or muscles to do work for longer duration or certain time duration. This is the ability of sustaining the activity for the given time duration or desired time duration. Along with it delay the tiredness or resist the fatigue. Two type of endurance is there. Short term endurance and long term endurance. Short term endurance we will discuss. Short term endurance is also known as anaerobic endurance. Now, what is the anaerobic endurance? Anaerobic endurance means that when we are doing any activity in faster rate or there is very less time to perform any activity. So, the oxygen intake is insufficient, very less that time. So, when the oxygen intake is very less in body, so that time the body is the ability of the body to sustain the activity is known as the short term endurance or anaerobic endurance. This is the ability of body to perform well in the fast activities for short period of time where oxygen intake is insufficient. So that's why this activity is known as this type of endurance is known as anaerobic endurance. This is short term endurance. The intensity of the activity are highest in short term endurance. That's why it is the anaerobic endurance. Now we will see the long term endurance. Long term endurance is also known as aerobic endurance. These activities are for longer duration. So, the intensity of the activity, the speed of activity is not fast. It is slow or medium. So, that's why the oxygen intake is sufficient. So, when oxygen intake is sufficient, then the body can sustain the activity for longer duration. That's why it is known as the aerobic endurance, when the oxygen intake is sufficient. So long term endurance or aerobic endurance. This is the ability of body to perform well in the slow or medium fast activities for long period of time, where oxygen intake is sufficient. So in this activity, these are activities are performed for longer duration with slow or medium fast activities where oxygen intake is sufficient, because these are this is the aerobic endurance or long term endurance. The intensity of the activities are not higher or slow or medium. They are not higher, either they are slow or medium in long term endurance. So this is about the short term endurance and long term endurance. In review, we can see the main thing about the short term endurance and long term endurance. Short term endurance needed in sports where the action is only for short duration but intensity is higher. It is needed in sports where the action is only for short duration but it is intensity is higher, like hockey, football, wrestling, weightlifting, shot put, etc. Long term endurance, it is needed in sports where the action is for longer duration but less intense. Intensity is less, like long distance races, long distance swimming, road cycling, marathons, cross country. So these are the activity and major games where the activity is sustained for longer duration. The method of improving the endurance are the continuous training method, interval training method, and repetition, which we will discuss in detail in class 12th. So this is all about the endurance. Now we will come to the flexibility. Flexibility is the ability of joints to move in maximum range. Flexibility can be exhibited by the muscles and by the joints and associated muscles. The associated muscles with the joints. So the flexibility is basically of two types: active flexibility and passive flexibility. Active flexibility is there when the body joints are moving in maximum range without any external help. Like we can bend our body joints by the help of others. So in active we are not taking any help, external help. The ability of the body to move in maximum range itself. When we are able to bend maximum, stretch the joint maximum without any external help, it is known as the active flexibility. Passive flexibility is there when we are bending or stretching our joints maximum by the external help, by taking help of someone. So passive flexibility is the ability of the joints to move in maximum range by taking external help. Active flexibility is again of two types: static and dynamic. Static flexibility is there when the body is able to stretch the joints or bending of the body from the joint while the body is in rest, in state position, means we are not, there is no any movement. Dynamic flexibility is there when the body is stretching or bending its joints from the joints, maximum in range while the body is in motion. So when the body is in motion and we are able to stretch the joints, or the joints can move to in the maximum range during the motion, is dynamic. When there is no motion and the body is showing flexibility, that is the static. So the flexibility, it is the range of movement of joint that we have discussed in previous slide. It is the range of movement of joints and the associated muscles. Range of movement varies significantly from joint to joint, but depends on the structure of the surrounding tendons, ligaments and muscle tissues. This is the structure of the joints. The joint is made up of bones, cartilage, tendons, ligament and muscle tissues. So that's why I was saying that it is the range of movement of joint and associated muscles. Flexibility is related to genetic factor and physical activity programs. Sometimes it is affected by the heredity, the genetic factor, and the physical activity programs are also there, which are responsible for the flexibility. If we are performing good physical activities regularly, so definitely the flexibility of the body will be good. So the type we have discussed in previous slide, the active and passive flexibility. Mainly two types are there. Passive flexibility. Passive flexibility, ability to stretch more with external help. This is the ability of the joints or associated muscles to move in maximum range with external help. It is always more than the active flexibility, because in this we are taking any external help. Active flexibility is the ability to do movement for a longer distance without any external help. This is the flexibility, the stretching of the joints and movement of the joints in maximum range without any external help is known as the active flexibility. This is divided into static flexibility. We have discussed static flexibility when the body is in state position, there is no movement, like the examples are there to exhibit the flexibility: diving, starting position in many sports activities, various yoga asanas. Dynamic flexibility. Dynamic flexibility is the individual when the individual is in motion. So this we have discussed in previous slide also. So this is about the flexibility. Now we will come to the coordination ability. Another component of physical fitness, that is the component, the coordination ability, coordinative ability. Coordination is the ability of an individual which enable him to do various related activities properly and efficiently. The coordination among various organs, the coordination among various activities, related activities properly and efficiently is known as coordination ability, in which accuracy, rhythm, flow and consistency depend on the coordinative ability. What is very important? Accuracy, rhythms, flow and consistency depend on the coordinative ability. Different type of coordinative abilities are here. We will discuss the different type of coordination abilities, the type of coordination abilities. So the coordination abilities are there: orientation abilities, coupling activities, in which we can make pairs of activities, then by making the pair of activities then we can coordinate between the activities. Reaction ability, that is how we are reacting towards the activity, towards the situation. Balance ability, how we are making balance with various activities and organs of the body. Rhythmic ability, in which we are performing various activities in a rhythm. Adaptation ability, how our body organs are adapting the situation. This is the adaptation ability. Adaptation means that is the adjustment ability. Differentiation ability, differentiating in various type of movement, various type of activities. So these are the coordination abilities. Orientation ability, in which we are setting the priority of the activities with by making the coordination among various activities, we are setting the priority. The orientation ability is there, coupling ability is there, reaction ability is there, balance ability is there, rhythmic ability, adaptation ability and differentiation ability. Now we will come to the next topic. These we have discussed the 5 components of the physical fitness. Now the next topic is preventing health threats through lifestyle changes. How health threat means, that is the danger to the health, diseases, the health hazards. So whatever the problems arise due to the lifestyle, so we can change them by changing the lifestyle. So that's why this topic is preventing health threats, means health diseases or health, the danger to the health caused by the lifestyle through lifestyle change. By changing the lifestyle, we can prevent various health problems. So what changes we can have? First is regular physical exercise. Because sedentary lifestyle leads to reduced energy expenditure. Regular physical activity helps to maintain the energy, to make our physical the systems of the body and organs of the body to work efficiently, to work smoothly. So regular physical activity like walking, aerobic exercises, extra, whatever we can do, there should be regular physical activity or regular physical exercise. Healthy eating habits. Intake of sodium, saturated fat, sugar should be limited. These can harm our body. We should try to reduce the intake of these food elements. Adequate amount of minerals and vitamins we should take. Although we must take balanced diet containing green vegetables, whole grains and dairy products. So we must maintain the healthy eating habits. We must have healthy eating habits. Maintaining a healthy weight. Another one is by maintaining a healthy weight. BMI should be always less than 25. Overweight individuals are at high risk of diseases and have higher mortality rate. Low calorie food, we must take low calorie food, or we must take calorie according to our workout. Avoid fatty, junk and fast food. So these are the changes which we can bring in our lifestyle. Further we can see some more changes what we can bring in our lifestyle to prevent the health threats. Limit watching television. When number of hours watching television increased, then physical activities are reduced and food intake increased. It happens in our life when we are watching TV for several hours. So definitely when we are increasing the number of watching TV, so the physical activities will be reduced and we becomes lazy and food intake increased. When the number of hours watching TV increased, then the physical activity is reduced and food intake increased. No smoking. Smoking is injurious to health. So we should avoid smoking. Use of tobacco or smoking increased blood pressure, leading to heart stroke and coronary diseases. Smokers prone to mouth or throat cancer. So that's why the smoking should be avoided. Proper sleep. Sleep affects our mood and mental state. We should have proper rest and sleep for good mood and good mental state. Inadequate sleep increase risk of injuries in our work or whatever we are doing in any activity. If we have inadequate sleep, so definitely there are chances of injury. So it increases the risk of injury. Proper sleep makes individual fresh and energetic always. So proper sleep should be there, and normally for healthy persons 6 to 8 hours sleep is recommended, and it may be less if we have less workout. Prevention of injuries. We must prevent ourselves from injuries. Fatal injuries can be avoided by safety rules. Seat belt, helmet, proper clothing while traveling, and no alcohol and drugs while driving. So these are certain rules by which we can follow the rules, and then we can prevent ourselves from various injuries. No drug and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol also affect adversely our health. So it also affects overall appearance of the body, and regular use of these things makes the person addicted. So that's why we need to avoid these things, and we need to bring the change in our lifestyle to prevent these health threats. Then we will come to the another topic, which is the components of positive lifestyle. So this we will discuss in the next slide, next video.